Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to another PPMA session. This session celebrates the winners of the PPMA Excellence in People Management Awards 2025. Best Candidate Experience, Greater Manchester Combined Authority. So I'm Joe Kerry. Those of you who've not met me before, Business Development Manager here at My Money Matters, a partner and great friend of the PPMA over the past 4 years or so. At My Money Matters, we are sponsoring this award category. So just to introduce the speakers, we've got Georgina and Hamara from the Greater Manchester Combined Authority. Just to note as well that there will be some time for questions. So there is a little chat box within the chat. So please utilise this and the questions will be answered at the end.
Great, thank you, Joe. So just to introduce myself a bit more detail, I'm Georgina Grinchpan and I work for Greater Manchester Combined Authority, and I was the project manager on the management trainee programme that won the Best Candidate Experience.
Hi, my name's Myra Ahmed. I'm the Talent and Resourcing Lead, and I supported with the design of the end-to-end recruitment for this programme. Grace, we're happy to move on to the next slide. So the motivation behind launching the new management trainee programme was that we found that the traditional graduate programme was often excluding young people without degrees, and it was creating a barrier to their entry. So to address this, the new programme was designed with a more relaxed assessment process. It made it more accessible to a broader range of candidates. The goal was to increase the diversity within the organisation by opening opportunities to individuals from varied backgrounds. Additionally, this initiative aimed to position GMCA as an inclusive and welcoming brand, enhancing our reputation and visibility in the community. And also the approach not only supported social mobility, but also enriched the talent pool with diverse perspective and skills. Next slide, please. So the main highlights for the recruitment was to update our processes to emphasize on inclusion as a foundational principle. We expanded the range of advertising platforms to reach a more diverse candidate pool. Line managers, we ensured that they played a central role as co-assessors to ensure that practical insights into the candidate suitability was available to them. And notably, the traditional degree requirements was removed to focus more on skills and potentials of the individuals. Interviews were structured around values and behaviours to align candidates with our organisational culture. Additionally, the application process, which normally is quite extensive, included a concise 200-word expression of interest. It encouraged candidates to clearly articulate their motivations and express how they were fit for the role. Next slide, please. So at the end of the recruitment process, we found that the recruitment produced a diverse cohort. 47% of the overall candidates that we attracted were ethnically diverse, and of the 17, which was a 17% increase compared to our previous campaigns for graduate management programs that we've run in 2021. And of those that we hired, 31% of our management trainees were racially diverse, which comparing to our previous campaigns was an 18% increase. 25% of the candidates that were hired declared that they had a disability, which was a 10% increase, and 37.5% declared that they were LGBTQ+, which was a 17.5% increase from our previous campaigns. Going to hand over to Georgina now.
Thank you. So as you can see, the aim was to give candidates the best opportunity to excel and display their interpersonal skills and values. And we did this by making it as fun and relaxed as possible. So the assessments we ran was an escape room exercise which was a group exercise, and it enabled the candidates to be given the best opportunity to demonstrate teamwork and communication, as well as problem solving and decision making. And then the interviews as well were value based. They were aligned to our core values, so we could more easily assess the candidates against those values and then their individual motivation and drivers. If you could move to the next slide, please. Thank you. So some of the highlights from this programme in a bit more detail. We delivered information event prior to the assessments, and this was to give the candidates more information and also to give them some preparation before the day. They could ask us questions. We had people delivering. And then, as Humera said, the managers were involved in the assessments. We had them involved from the beginning to the end, so they could see the whole process, they could input. We held it in a large offsite venue to make it more relaxed, but also to give us more scope for interviews and the escape room exercise. And we also had introduction on both assessment days from directors, and one of the directors actually stayed for the day and did assessments. We provided brunch for candidates and assessors, and this allowed for more networking opportunities during brunch and also throughout the day. And that was some of the feedback that we had from candidates as well, and assessors, that they really enjoyed the opportunity to learn more about each other. The candidates enjoyed the opportunity to learn more about the organisation. And then we also offered verbal feedback to every single candidate, whether they were successful or unsuccessful. So it allowed for the successful ones to see maybe where they could improve and also have that discussion, but also the unsuccessful ones, so they knew what maybe to focus on for next time. We also provided a QR code on the day for candidates to gather that experience there and then, so we could get that information. Grace, if you'd move on to the next slide, please. So the key measures of our success that we use were candidate experience, assessor feedback, the increase in diversity of candidates and appointees that Humera has just covered, and also the quality of the hires of trainees. So I'm just going to cover those on the next slide. Thank you. So candidate feedback, as you can see, 89% of respondents rated the group activity as engaging, 100% rated the venue as very good or good. And then we had 56% that said the group exercise was the most enjoyable part, which is amazing as it's an assessment. And then 25% said the interview again. So they were really positive results for us. If you could go to the next slide, please, Grace. And then these are some of the comments from the candidates. So they enjoyed the atmosphere with the other interviewees, and then the creative approach of the escape game, and the type of values-based interviews. And then again, the group activity was enjoyable and it relieved anxiety. If you could move to the next slide. Thank you. And then some of the assessor comments. I mean, wow, what a great experience. Really good pre-event organisation, great venue. And then also they noticed how good it was they put the candidates at ease to get the best out of them, which was our intention, really. Next slide, please. Thank you. So just to cover what we're planning for the future. So we're going to stick with our hyperlocal recruitment in Greater Manchester. So residents of Greater Manchester, and also working with GM agencies. And then we're looking at the proposal for the next cohort, because it was a 2-year programme. and that's coming up. So we're just consulting with trainees and line managers on feedback on the actual programme, and we'll feed that into the next one, and then we'll build on the success of the first cohort. Next slide, please. And now it's time for questions. So anyone who has any questions, we can look in the chat, or if you want to, just put your hand up and you can speak. I'm not sure if Grace is gonna. I'm happy if you want to take that slide off, Grace, and then we can see people. So please feel free, if no one has put their hand up, please feel free just to unmute yourself and ask a question if you want to. Or just put it in the chat. We were
got a hand up.
Oh, brilliant. I didn't see that.
Hi, my name's Kate Chester. I don't work for a local authority. I'm not employed by a local authority, but I do work with local authorities on leadership programs. And so I hear a lot about how difficult it is to recruit people into local authorities. And I'm interested in your hyper-local recruitment. What exactly does that mean? I know you mentioned agencies, but I'd love to know a bit more about that. And do you work with any universities in order to try and recruit people as well?
Yeah, I'll let our recruitment specialist answer that one.
Thank you. So hyperlocal recruitment, we're still quite new to it, but the focus is Greater Manchester and the residents of Greater Manchester, especially those that have previously faced barriers. And the agencies would be, we work closely with Growth Company. There are certain times we tap into job centres as well, and also third sector companies as well. We're currently working with Aspire at the moment, where future roles, which are sidelines for these type of projects, will directly advertise through them. So any connections that they have, they will advertise through their platforms directly to those candidates, and that's through NEET groups or any disadvantaged groups that they have connections with. So it's more recruitment based within Greater Manchester. That's the focus. And universities, yes, currently with our Education Work and Skills Directorate, they link in directly to universities, colleges and schools as well with our T-level programs, but also when we have apprenticeships, we'll get in touch directly with universities. If there's any potential for candidates to come through that route, we can support that as well.
Thanks so much. Sorry, one follow-up question, and then I'll let someone else ask a question. Otherwise, I could chat all. Your vacancies for these roles, were they entry level? What sort of level were the roles?
So initially it was graduate level role, and due to the reviews of those campaigns, we found that there were barriers. We were getting similar type of candidates coming through with a similar background. So we dropped the requirement for a degree to A levels. And that opened up quite a diverse pool of candidates. And also when we shortlisted and interviewed, we had a range of diverse backgrounds coming through as well.
Great, thank you.
Sorry, I'll just add, we still did get a lot of candidates from that had a degree, so it didn't stop people with degrees that had been to university applying. It just opened it up to other, like a bigger pool of people.
Brilliant, thank you. Sounds like such a great experience for your candidates, and an escape room is just a brilliant idea.
No.
Although I'm terrible at them, even without needing to get a job at the end of it.
To be honest, I was going to say what we found was, and what we encouraged the candidate, it wasn't the end result that we were looking for, the escape room. You don't have to have an escape at the end. It was more seeing how they interacted with other candidates and the solutions that they were trying to come up with, but also how they were communicating and making those decisions.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Hamara. They didn't need to escape to be able to get through the assessment, like to pass.
Okay, so, it wasn't the ones who got out of the room first who ended up with
no. No, nothing like
Brilliant.
that.
Great. It's such an innovative way of doing it. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking a question. If there's anybody else, please feel free. Will Fraser, I can see your hand up.
Yeah, hang on 2 seconds. I'm trying to put my camera on so you can actually see me. That's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I was just interested in, you talked about hiring on potential. So just for context, I work at Norfolk County Council. I manage a talent development team. Part of that is early careers, apprenticeships, and it's a bit of a culture shift from us to move to hiring those entry level roles on potential, because the way our roles are graded, it's based on, tell me about a time when you've done this or have experience of that. So I'd just be interested in how you work that into those interviews and I guess the questions that you might have been asking people to unlock and make hiring decisions based on the potential of that candidate rather than the the experience they were already bringing. Sorry, it's a bit of a long-winded question.
No, it's fine. I mean, I'm happy to start this one, Amara, and then you can add anything. We still asked the questions, and they were still, we still wanted the evidence. So I mean, the people that applied generally did have some experience, but we allowed them to use answers not necessarily from a workplace, but if they'd been in teams, or they'd had anything from college or school. But most people, the ones that I was involved in, were able to answer those questions, and because they were based on our values organizationally, so like collaboration, empowering, and delivery, along with finding out their passion for Greater Manchester, and we hired really good quality candidates. It still allowed us to grade them against what markers we were looking for. So a lot, people did have answers, we just weren't, but we allowed them to use sort of answers that they felt most appropriate. Does that answer your question, Hamara?
Yeah,
I don't know if you want
that's really
to add
good.
Yeah, I was just going to say it was more lived-based experience that we were looking for from the candidates, and that helped in terms of being a bit more inclusive in what we were looking for as well, but also providing a bit of that ease for the candidates if they previously not had that work experience, professional experience. They could use those personal experiences to be able to provide that evidence. And having done the graduate programs compared to the management programs, the difference that I saw was, especially when we were designing a role profile, was with the graduate one, the first thing was skills, knowledge. You had to have the degree to be able to enter that program, and you had to show and you had to prove a certain type of skill. However, with the management program, it's what you could achieve, what you should be able to do. And because it was a apprenticeship level 4 anyway, they'd be working towards those skills at the end. So they didn't have to have them. They had to have a form of experience, professional experience, that they could, transfer into this role. But ultimately, it was what the program would create from the basic experience that they're going to be bringing in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. That's really useful. Thank you. It's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? Especially when you're looking at people. I'm looking at people coming straight out of school, or sixth form. How you deliver that recruitment experience that allows you to, like you say, put them at ease and allow them to deliver the best version of themselves, but they've got limited experience to draw upon. So shaping it like that, and they're potentially going to be competing with other people who do have more experience, and it's trying to create a level playing field for everyone. But yeah, there's probably not an easy answer, but
well, we are as well. Sorry, I saw your mouth open. we are working with entry schemes as well. So we're giving T-level placements developing like work experience programs. We've just hosted summer job programs, placements the last 5 weeks. So we've got a whole host of, and then we've got other roles that are apprenticeships. So, and it does depend. Ours was a big group. Well, we thought it was a big group. We hired 16 candidates. So it was quite a big, and we had like hundreds of applications. So it was quite a big, but we're also doing smaller hires that have different parameters. So I think the thing that we've found in our team, because my team looks after sort of the entry schemes, there's a lot of sort of work together with the recruitment. And the thing that we've found is sort of just to tailor. So if you are trying to hire from school, just do try and relax them. Try and, I know you just want to see the best of them. So ask them questions that they'll be able to answer. We do send for the T levels, we send the questions beforehand. So they can sort of prepare. So it really depends on the job role and like the criteria. Obviously, if you need someone that's high experience in whatever, you'd tailor it differently. But that's what I would recommend. That's how we're dealing with like younger people. Hamara?
No, I was just going to follow up similar to what you've just said in terms of ensuring that it's a more relaxed process and providing the questions beforehand. So I've recently supported a level 3 business support program officer role, and with that we did review the role profile and ensure that we took out a lot of the you need to be able to prove this or you need to come in with this type of skills. It was changed to you should be able to, by the end of the program, you'll be able to achieve this or you'll be able to showcase this type of skill. So that I think really helped in terms of just attracting those candidates as well. And that was mainly based on school leavers and college leavers. And in terms of the actual role, it was aimed and advertised towards those school leavers and college leavers as well. So there was a caveat in terms of the type of candidate we were looking for and the experience that they were coming in for. And it was highlighted that this is definitely an entry-level role. But we still get people applying for that role with a degree or several years of experience. So it comes down to how you sift them type of applications as well and the feedback you provide to them.
Yeah.
Can I add, oh sorry, I've got a few more things to add. Sorry, if that's all right. I'll let you speak first, Will.
No, I was just going to say we do that with our apprenticeship roles. We'll take the role and then apprentisize it, and so the job description is what you need now and what you'll get to by the time you finish your apprenticeship. But yeah, we do have that, I guess, a challenge with people who do have more experience applying, and the manager, not all managers, some managers want to get as much experience as they can for their money, and therefore that's a bit of a barrier sometimes for those entry-level people. And that's where apprenticeships can actually be useful, because technically you shouldn't do an apprenticeship in something that you've already got experience qualifications in. So, but anyway, I'll shut up.
Yeah. Now what I was going to say was for this program, we really tried to make use of the language that we used in the advert and sort of to attract, and I think it really made a difference. We created like guidance, just an overview of the organization, the different departments, just I think providing as much information to give those people that haven't maybe had so much experience in the workplace that kind of like background. The information session prior to the assessments really helped. We really, we created a whole session. We had someone talk about devolution, because that's a big thing in Greater Manchester, and what the organisation works on. And we allowed for questions, which really helped. Young people can, I know what you said about more experience, but like you say, with apprenticeship, you can't take an apprenticeship if you've got too much experience. But young people or people with less experience have different ideas, which can you know, if you sell that to the manager, you know, it can really benefit the department. I'm not saying, you know, like people with experience, you know, they're also useful, like you say, but if that's what you're looking for, people with less experience, then they too can bring lots of benefits.
Perfect, thank you. That's been really useful.
Anyone else? Oh, Kate.
Sorry, I don't want to like jump in again. I did have another question, but I just wanted to make sure no one else wanted to ask anything. Mine was about staff time for the recruitment process. I know that's probably a really difficult question to sort of quantify, but what I hear is that people kind of get stuck in a way of recruiting and are really stressed. I mean, devolution and the you know, that is local government reorg is stressing a lot of people out, and yeah, I don't know that there are full staff teams to really do recruitment as thoroughly as this. So, I mean, can you kind of quantify how?
I have to say it did take a lot of time. It took over my life. It did. It took over my working hours, and I mean, I had people on the team helping. So no, it did take a lot of time, but it was, you know, it was needed. The organization needed it, and it takes time once the people are in place as well, because it takes management of the program just besides the recruitment. But it's, I mean, the whole point is to bring talent into the organization and get the right people, so it's worth putting the time in. I was designated the project manager, so you have to bring everyone with you, don't you? You have to, like, people change, roles change as well in the need update. I think just being super organized as much as possible. I did briefings of the assessors to the assessors, you know, on the day as well, so everyone was on the same page about marking and all of that. So it is, I think quantifiably I couldn't do it for you right now, because like, but now we've done it, I think a lot of that, it'll be easy to run a second program because we've got processes in place, because it was the first time that our department and team had run this, an organization. So now that, I think it will be quicker. You learn, don't you? So yeah, it's really tricky, and then you've got other people involved. We had to have however many assessors and booking those in, and yeah, it's unquantifiable right now, but it should be better for next time, because it'll be more things, smaller things to change rather than creating something new. So that's not really helpful for you, Kate, to give you time wise, but
it was
just going to add in that we are obviously public service local authority as well, and there is time for approvals as well. So submitting your business case, getting your approvals, that also takes quite a bit of time as well. So you need to really think about, when you think about your timeline, it's giving consideration to that as well.
Yeah, you can't get a quick decision on something like that. I'm guessing that because you had such a large recruitment round with 30, did you say 12 or 13 appointees?
16.
Oh, 16, sorry. So that's a big recruitment round. There's sort of a kind of scale there that made this very justifiable. Whereas if you were just doing it for one job.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, what you could do to make it better, like when I mentioned the videos, like you could do a recorded video of different teams, and you know, it doesn't have to be so resource intensive like we did. But I suppose those are the things that you work out, you know, what's best for your organization. I mean, it could be like we've talked about even internally having videos to help people understand. So, you know, you could do that quite easily. But yes, I mean, what we did for one job wouldn't make sense, but because it was such a big group, it did. What, there's a question. We've been doing similar process at Enfield Council for a few years now. Took time to set up the first one, but really easy now that the process is in place. Managers are also keen to be a part. But yeah, that's really good. Thanks, Drew. Or is it Drew Glynn or Glyn Drew? I'm not sure. Thank you to Drew Glynn or Glyn Drew for your comment.
That's right. So I was trying to find the buttons to switch things on. Yeah, but it's an easy process now, because everything's been set up. So yeah, good luck with it. But managers really keen to be involved in it, so we're kind of fighting managers off now. We've got enough people. It's a fun experience that that everyone enjoys. So yeah, it's.
I have to say the assessment, it's all the preparation that's the hardest. The assessment days were like enjoyable. Well, for us as well as the candidates, as you've seen. So yeah, it's good that you've done. It's good to know.
I think the longest bit now is the amount that takes the most amount of time now is the sifting through who are you going to invite to the assessment centres, that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
that's the bit that takes the time now. We've got the package. It's easy to deliver. So
yeah. I mean, we shared it between people. We gave them criteria and we shared it because we had so many.
Yeah.
But some people wanted to see all of them. So again, that's consulting with the assessors. So
yeah.
Thank you. Is it Glyn?
It is Glyn, yeah. Cheers.
Thanks, Glyn.
Was there any AI involved, Georgina?
In which part? Let me think.
In any part of it, whether it was like writing job descriptions or any of the kind of like shortlisting or any of that, because AI.
No, actually, no. You know, our organisations recently, and I'm talking probably in the past, I'm not sure for sure, but like 6 months maybe, as because of information governance rules, we've now got Copilot, Microsoft, but we were limited on what we are limited on what AI platforms we use. So we now have Copilot, but not everyone has it. But no, not as far as I know. The only sort of no, we just use standard technology computer. But for the next one, who knows? I mean, yeah, I wrote all the brochures and all of that, and we had all the people write about their departments. So yeah, it might be very different next time. But we do need to be aware of AI biases. So if AI is involved in sifting, which I don't think it will be, I think it's important to have that human touch and have that. But yeah, we do need to be aware of AI biases if we do use it. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. It's a hot topic at the moment, isn't it?
Like Georgina mentioned, we didn't at that time with the role profiles or adverts, but we are in recruitment, we are integrating it now to support managers in developing their role profiles and also their adverts. But it's also making sure we have that overview, like Georgina mentioned, that human touch to all areas of our work, just ensuring, because we can't trust AI 100% in terms of the details that it provides. So just double checking, making sure everything reads well and properly, the information that's being captured. But we also, in all of our recruitment adverts, have a caveat that we understand that we use AI in our work, but when it comes to doing applications, we want that human experience behind that as well. So it's finding a balance, because a lot of the applications that do come through now, we do see a heavy use of AI, but it misses, you know, the the points in a question in terms of the actual experience someone's providing. It can be all nice and flowery in terms of the information it's providing, but there's no depth to the question. So we've seen managers obviously reject quite a lot of applications because they're not getting what they need in terms of the experience or the proof. So we try to, obviously, whenever we have interactions with candidates, is explain that yes, you can use it, but just to a limit. You still need to provide your own experience and your own depth.
For our documents, if we do use AI, we do have to state it as our AI policy. So if we do use AI, it will be evident. I mean, we might have to, I don't know what your thought on this is, Hummer and everyone else, but like it might get to the point where candidates are all using AI and you just have to meet them face to face anyway, but I don't know how that's gonna go. Don't know.
Well, that's an issue that we are facing, that there's a difference in what we get from applications to how a person presents at an interview stage. And that's us as recruitment working with our hiring managers, ensuring that you have robust questions that you really can, even when we're providing questions to candidates pre-hand, we're really having good pointers to get that information, to get that experience out of them. So it's just about how we go about designing that with the manager that really then is helpful for them at the interview stage of getting what they need out of a candidate and having that best experience.
How have you found it, Kate, with the AI? Are you using it much in your organisation?
I don't do that much recruitment, but the local authority I'm working with don't use AI currently. But I mean, I say currently, AI is sort of on a daily basis seems to be picking up momentum, but I use it a lot when I'm tendering for work, and it's, you know, the competition is really tough because of AI. But there's a real place for it, I think. But particularly as to Will's point about people with less experience, if you're going to then use AI, is that a good thing, or is that, do you just get a fluffy answer without any depth? I was just thinking about the use of video footage, because when we do when we do have recruitment rounds, we always ask for, you know, video, if that's easier for an applicant from a, you know, a dyslexic candidate or somebody who's neurodivergent who finds typing very difficult, you know, just give a range of application processes, because then you can actually see the candidate and that helps a bit.
Yeah, although you can create a video, generative video, can't you? Some quite realistic ones. So yeah. But yeah, no, it is tricky. The generative AI is very beneficial, but it can also be troublesome. It's a very big topic, Kate, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think we could fall into the trap of AI generating the job descriptions and then AI generating the application forms, AI then selecting, you know, shortlisting the applicants until we've got AI doing everything, and that I think becomes quite a risky situation.
I agree.
To be honest, I've seen that there are platforms now using that. We were at a job fair a couple of months ago and it was fully AI generated from the moment someone was attracted to an advert to them clicking on and then doing the application. Even the application was AI based, where you're talking, and like you mentioned, they did a video session on that where they uploaded it, but there was also like voice analyzing as well in terms of your pitch and how comfortable you are in responding to the questions, to them being selected based on the criteria that you've put into the system, to them being offered. So it was end-to-end AI based, so that was a bit scary.
Yeah, we've not got any plans to do that.
Yeah, I think that would you'd lose credibility. Your testimonials were fantastic. But certainly for the teams that I'm working with are kind of like, yes, AI has a place, but it's very quick. It's very easy to lose trust with AI if you are using that as your final whatever. So that human touch that you've both talked about, I think, is so important. Otherwise, people do start to lose. You can lose trust really quickly if you use AI in the wrong way, I think.
I agree, and personally, I know that I can lose skills and knowledge if I just use AI. I mean, do you know, because you're getting out of practice, don't you? So yeah, I like to keep my skills up, but it can save time and it is useful for some things. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens in the future.
At the LGA conference, there was a lot of talk about, AI, and, there are job titles in some local authorities, head of AI, and, people are employing others for AI, but even those head of AIs were going, we don't know how this is all gonna play out. It's kind of as impactful as the World Wide Web was when it first came in. No one really knows where this is going to take us.
And I think what I've heard on the research that I've done is if you can use AI, you're going to be in a better position to keep your job than if you can't, rather than people being replaced. Yeah, only time will tell.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a really interesting discussion for me anyway. Are we due to finish in a minute? I don't know.
Yeah.
If anyone else has got any questions.
I think we're there with all the questions. If anyone did have any questions that they think about that they haven't asked, you can always email me at admin@ppma.org.uk, and I can always forward them on to Georgina for any queries. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And yeah, this session's been recorded so that it will be sent out to all members. So if you want to share with your teams or anything, feel free to do so. But enjoy the rest of your afternoons. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.